Coming to you live from Walker Center on the campus of Oklahoma City University, welcome to Studio 22, a production of the Mass Communications Department. I'm your host, Rupert Kaminsky, and joining me on today's show is Josh McCullock. Welcome.
Thank you.
Josh is a photographer, and do you want to talk a little bit about what you do and
Sure.
sort of elaborate on your...
Sure, yeah. I primarily photograph people in different settings. A lot of times it's wedding photography, but I really like to concentrate on relationships and dynamics between people.
Nice.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what sort of photography do you most enjoy or find most interesting?
Well, I guess the genre of photography that really kind of sparked my interest in the beginning was street photography.
Yeah.
It's primarily black and white photography in which the photographer doesn't have any interaction with the subject, and you just have to watch people and kind of observe different dynamics and capture them in an interesting way.
That's awesome.
So that was always really interesting to me.
Yeah.
So kind of started the ball rolling.
Nice. And where would you say you get most of your inspiration from?
Honestly, from my subjects. Like, I kind of take that dynamic into what I do the most is photographing weddings, and just kind of really try to get to know people and understand the relationships that are surrounding them, and document those things in in an honest way.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Instead of just bringing whatever I think to the situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And I know you said earlier that you live a sort of quiet lifestyle.
As quiet as possible with 2 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you into food. Is that one of your hobbies?
Yeah.
Sort of farming and growing your own food?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, food is a big part of our life. We moved out of Oklahoma City kind of into the country a couple of years ago, and have just found ourselves in a place where we are able to produce some of our own food. It's hard to do all of your own food.
Yeah.
In Oklahoma especially, unless you just want to eat squash and peppers.
Yeah.
But that's a big part of our family life. It's cooking and raising food. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, we'll be right back after the break. Talk about more photography with Josh.
Oklahoma isn't your room. So don't trash it.
Josh, do you do a lot of traveling for photography? Do you get to see a lot of different places?
Yeah. Early in my career, I traveled quite a bit. Then we started a family.
Yeah.
And, that kind of makes being gone for days and days at a time a little more challenging as a dad.
Yeah.
But, have been quite a few places and been able to kind of witness some pretty cool weddings. But
Yeah, I'm sure it's amazing to photograph different cultures and sort of see different lifestyles.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is, it's kind of I would have never have chosen that for myself starting out, like, oh, well, I think I'm going to try to be a wedding photographer that travels around. But, life has fun surprises like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
And have you always wanted to be a photographer, did it kind of just happen? Did you ever see yourself doing something else?
No, it was just kind of the result of pursuing something that interested me, like a passion. Like my wife calls me a compulsive hobbyist. So, you know, I just think it's worth kind of chasing whatever you're into at the time and see what happens.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
And for anyone else wanting to get into photography and sort of following their passion, what would you suggest is the best option?
I would just say start from a place that's important to you, you know. So if you're into whatever it is, sports or, you know, I happened to photograph the first wedding I ever shot, like the year that I got married.
Oh, wow.
And so I was in that chapter of life, and it was meaningful to me.
Yeah.
And now I'm a dad and have kids, and, you know, so I have kind of shifted to photographing families, and I find that important, you know.
Yeah.
So, but just, you know, I think your work will be rather meaningless unless there's some kind of personal connection to it. So
Yeah.
let's start with something that you love.
Yeah, I guess
So.
you got to have passion in everything that you do.
Right.
And talk about your wedding. Did you find it a bit weird seeing a different photographer there?
Actually, when we got married, we didn't have any money, first of all, so the photographer was an interesting situation.
Yeah,
but yeah, we couldn't have afforded good photography then anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been great talking to you and just hearing about your life. It sounds very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.